هذا هو هذا هو هذا هو
تعرف ديريكت ضربني قال لي اطلع في الكهرباء قلت له
شكون اللي ضربك؟ عاون امنه؟
عاون امن.
بالمطرقة على ساعة الباب هو قدام يجري ومازال يضرب بالمطرقة على ساعة.
الحلة باش
الحلة بالظلامات.
انت حليت يدك؟
لا انا حليت يدي. شو قلتلوني؟ قال فيا ما مش نعملها.
From the moment of a person's arrest till the time he is brought before a judge, that's what we call pre-charge detention. In Tunisia, this period of time can last up to 6 days, which is quite a long time during which a person is at the mercy and in the hands of the police without access to a lawyer or to outside visits. This makes a person particularly vulnerable and increases the risks of abuse.
واحد منهم جبد شوك الكتريك قالوا لي حكايه فارغه هذه لازم نصرفوا معاه لازمنا معناتها بقى كلام برشا كلام زايد بيان سور.
منهم واحد ضخم عظيم يوصف لي كيفاش باش يعذبني. هاو بعد شويه باش نبدا نعذب فيك، هاو كان ما تجيبش الصحيح وما تقولش هاوش باش نعمل لك، حتى هددني انه يعتدي عليا جنسيا.
Arrested persons are held in detention centers until they are brought before a judge who will decide whether to release them or bring them to trial. During this period of time, they can also be brought back to police stations for interrogation. Before the overthrow of President Ben Ali in January 2011, it was virtually impossible for human rights organizations to investigate conditions inside detention centers in Tunisia. Now, new authorities have proved far more open, and the Ministry of Interior has given Human Rights Watch unprecedented access to some of the detention facilities by giving it permission to go visit and even film inside those detention centers. Detention authorities showed us an empty cell in Bouchoucha, which is the biggest detention center in Tunisia. This is what they use for the drinking water. The toilet is separated by a small wall. They have put today soap. Last time that we were here, there was no soap, and even detention authorities told us that it was. They never give them soap because they are afraid of, that they would do immoral things. This is the words of the detention authorities. Most detainees reported feeling constantly hungry. They described the food as being food in name only and sometimes as being fit for turtle because the sandwiches they received were only made out of harissa, and in the best cases they had salad and some luncheon meat. So we are now in the jail of Sfax, which is one of the biggest cities in Tunisia. So we are here inside the cell, and we see that the toilet is quite in a very bad state.
We eat here, huh? You eat here. You sleep here, you drink here. You stay here 6 days, 5 days.
Several detainees reporting having seen rats inside their cells coming from the toilet hole, and that this is preventing them even from sleeping during the night. When we were in Nebel detention center, we found a Russian guy who was in very bad shape. He had bruises all over his body. He had a black eye, and his wrists had marks from the handcuffs. You have to sign something?
Yeah.
Sign on papers?
No. I say
they write? But did you read?
I don't
read Arabic.
Yes.
But you signed?
Yeah.
This is one of the examples of how detainees could be forced to sign confessions and statements that will later be used against them in court. and nearly half of the detainees we spoke with reported that they have signed confessions without reading them because they were forced to do so by the police, either through mistreatment or through different kinds of other coercion.
جاني مع فير 4:30 بتاع الليل، جاب لي المحضر وقال لي صحح. قلت له شنو صح؟ قال لي صح. قلت له نقرا. انا قلت نقرا، وعاودوا رجعوا يسبوا فيا ويشتموا فيا ويدفعوا فيا وخرجوني للكلوار وتقرا وتشوف وساوموني بالمرواح. قال لي
صححت، نكذب عليك صححت، ما نجمش ما صححش خاطر ديجا قلت لك انا نموت نشوف فيها وقتها. صححت يجي معناتها فما 50 ورقه فما تقريبا. تعبت من الصحاح ديجا.
Handcuffs. This is handcuffs.
Kick me.
On your face. Here the problem is that there is a gap in the law because there is no legal representation. Up to 6 days and even sometimes even more, the detainee does not have a right to legal representation, so nobody can really assist him to make the case that he has been beaten up by a policeman.
وهذه يعني نعتقد أنها مدة طويلة جدا، ويعني تتجاوز المعايير الدولية التي تقول بأن مدة الاحتفاظ لدى الشرطة القضائية لا يجب أن تتجاوز 48 ساعة. وعلاوة على ذلك فالقانون لا يسمح للشخص المشبوه أو الموقوف المحتفظ به بأن يستعين بمحامي. وبطبيعة الحال غياب المحامي ينقص كثيرا من ضمانات البحث، ويؤول إلى الخروقات والتجاوزات وحالات العنف والتعذيب التي تسلط أو يمكن أن تسلط على الأشخاص المحتفظ بهم أثناء البحث.
On the 9th of October, the Parliament voted on the creation of an independent monitoring body for the prevention of torture. Now the next steps would be to grant this body financial and political support and give it an unimpeded access to all places of detention. During this time of pre-charge detention, when things go wrong, this will have huge implications for the entire judicial process. A person can be forced to sign confession without the presence of a lawyer, and this confession can be used against him later in court. This hampers, obviously, his right to due process.